Hey guys, this is David Wunderlich, and with this video I'm going to be showing you Florida's best drive against LSU. This came late in the second quarter, and it put the Gators up 14-10 shortly before halftime. There were 7 plays in total, so let's go ahead and get started. Here is the first play, and this is one of the few instances against LSU where Florida wanted to do a quick pass, just like the ones they did against Mississippi State. Van Jefferson is up here, and he's the guy that Franks wants to throw it to. He doesn't end up throwing it to him, and it's for good reason. So we see as this play starts, get the play action fake. Here's Jefferson up here getting ready to make a little cut and come over here to get the ball. The idea of the play is that this guy is going to follow Hammond here, who goes up vertically, but he doesn't do that. Instead, he stays short, as this defender up here is the one that is taking the longer route on this play. So if we go forward just a little bit further, you can see here's Franks. He's in the middle of his throwing motion. Here's Jefferson, the guy he wants to hit, and this guy is already jumping the route. If Franks makes this throw, this is a pick six, going back unless Franks can somehow make the tackle. Fortunately for the Gators, he does not throw it. He tries to scramble a little bit. It doesn't go so well. But because Franks had that giant dramatic motion going this way, it drew the middle linebacker that way because it looked like Franks was going to throw it. And so that leaves P. Ryan here open over the middle, completely by himself. And so Franks sees him, does a little hop, dumps it off, and they get a few yards. So this was a good play by Franks. It looked pretty awkward, but the results were actually good. He didn't make a throw where a defender was ready to jump the route, and after a weird little pull it down and run forward kind of thing, he finds P. Ryan open over the middle and gets 7 yards. So now it's second down, and this is the first time in the game that Florida employs the speed option play, which was very effective against LSU. Speed option is probably the thing you most think of when you think of option. That's the play where the quarterback and running back both run out in the same direction. An edge rusher ends up unblocked. It's going to be this guy. And based on what he does, the quarterback either keeps and runs with it or pitches it out to the running back. So with this edge guy being unblocked, the way this is supposed to work is Juwan Taylor comes out and blocks this guy up here. The rest of the line just blocks the people in front of them, and this receiver out here, Van Jefferson, is going to be blocking the corner. In theory, if this all gets blocked correctly, you'll have Franks coming out this way, P. Ryan coming out this way, and only one defender. And Franks will read that defender, and as long as he makes the correct read, which he does, whoever ends up running the ball will have plenty of area over here. So as we watch this play go forward, first, Franks sticks the ball out like this, and P. Ryan takes a little bit of step that way, and that draws this linebacker in. It looks like it might be some sort of handoff that would be going up the middle or going to the left, and so that helps out Juwan Taylor with his block. As they now come out this way, the linebacker has come up. Taylor is out here ready to make this block. He doesn't make a perfect block, but he gets enough of him that it's effective. So they come out this way, and Franks waits a pretty long time before pitching the ball. He wants to make sure this edge rusher comes up as close as possible to him, and so now he's going to pitch the ball, and he does a good job of getting it right out in front of P. Ryan, exactly where you want it, so that P. Ryan can catch it and maintain his forward momentum. So there goes the pitch, and now P. Ryan has all that space just like we thought he would. This is not the best job of blocking out here by Jefferson. He's kind of doing it a little half-heartedly, but he has no shot at getting the safety, who is the one who ends up making the first hit on P. Ryan, and eventually he goes down. Here's the play in real time, and watch how Taylor gets enough of his second level block on that linebacker that it's able to spring the running back for a nice long gain. So now it's first down again, and I believe this play is a run-pass option. As far as the run component goes, Juwan Taylor, the right tackle, is going to come out and try to be a lead blocker for P. Ryan going this way. And the pass is going to be to Jefferson over here. I believe the person that Franks will be reading is the cornerback over here. If the cornerback stays up on Jefferson, he'll give it. And if the cornerback either drops back or blitzes, then Jefferson will be open and he'll make the throw out that way. As it happens, Greedy Williams, this cornerback, he is going to blitz. And so Franks will not give the ball and instead throw it out to Jefferson. So as we watch this play go forward, here is Franks offering the ball to P. Ryan. If you look at where his head is looking, he's looking directly out here at Greedy Williams, the cornerback, who is now coming up on his corner blitz. Now, if Franks had given the ball, I think there's a decent chance this would do well. We've got a good block here, good blocks inside. We've got somebody coming out here. And so Taylor only has to get out here and block this guy for P. Ryan to have a nice big gain out that way. But the read is over here on the corner. He is blitzing, and so Franks is going to make the throw. You can see Franks did a little bit of sidearm action. That way the ball comes out this way and doesn't get a chance to get tipped by the cornerback. And as Jefferson runs up the sideline, the safety has rotated down to replace the blitzing corner, and Jefferson does a good job of leaning into that hit so that he can get a few extra yards and get up the sideline. So again, I think this is a run pass option. This guy is the read. He comes up, the safety rotates down, and because the cornerback came up, Franks ends up throwing it out to Jefferson. So now comes the fourth play. They've started with roughly the same formation. The guys at the top have been in slightly different configurations, but otherwise it's been one back, three to the left, one to the right. This is going to be another speed option play, and it's going to work again. This guy ends up unblocked, and he's the guy Franks will read to decide whether to keep it or pitch it. The way the blocking scheme is supposed to work is the two tackles are supposed to take care of these linebackers up here. So Taylor, again, is supposed to come out here, and Ivy is supposed to come up and get this guy. Another one is able to do a good job in this play. Franks again will offer the ball out as though it potentially could go that way, but Pirine doesn't really get close to him, and so this linebacker isn't fooled, and he stays a little back because he thinks the speed option is coming again. This linebacker is Devin White. He's one of the fastest and best LSU linebackers, and so he's able to use his speed to get around Jawan Taylor, and that ends up causing trouble on the play. So we start watching this going forward. Here's the inside handoff fake, but you can see the linebacker's already coming this way. He's not been fooled at all. He just saw this 2 plays ago. Ivy is trying to come out and get this guy, but he's not going to be able to get there in time. Taylor's going to try to come out in this guy, but again, he's going to use his speed to get around him. Ivy is going to end up getting a little bit of help. Probably the single best block on this play comes from the right guard, Fred Johnson. He is going to drive his guy way back. The linebacker that Ivy is supposed to be blocking ends up getting caught up in this traffic. And so this guy, despite avoiding his initial block, is going to end up not being a factor. So we watch the play go forward. Franks again draws in the edge rusher, leaving plenty of room over here for Pirine to go that way, but you can see the linebackers already getting around Taylor. Now here's Johnson. He's driven his guy back, and he's providing little interference for this guy. So there is a really good lane here for Pirine to go through. Jawan Taylor ends up pushing Devin White in his back, ends up with the block in the back flag, but is really unnecessary because Pirine could have hit that hole anyway. And so there's the foul, and Pirine gets up the sideline. So here it is in real time. Devin White, the linebacker, is very skilled. He will get around and beat his block, and if not for an unnecessary penalty, Florida would have had another explosive game. So here's the next play. It's 1st and 17, and Florida is still going 3 wide to the top, except this is Felipe Franks because Kadarius Toney is in the Wildcat. This is just going to be a pretty basic quarterback sweep going to the right. Pirine comes out to the right as well. And this is the least effective play on the drive. They do get 3 positive yards on it, but Nick Buchanan, the center, is supposed to come out here and get a second level block on this linebacker. To replace him going after the nose guard, Martez Ivy is supposed to pull around Tyler Jordan and come this way. That's a really difficult block to try to make, especially because the nose tackle is just going to rush up the field as fast as he can. So Buchanan will end up missing this block. Ivy is too late coming around because, again, that's an extremely difficult job to ask him to do. So there's not going to be much running room. So this guy has avoided Buchanan. This guy has beaten Ivy because Ivy was a little bit late. And so they're going to converge on Toney, and it's not going to go very far. So here it is in real time, a missed block by Buchanan, and a really difficult block that Ivy can't quite make are what keeps this play from doing very much. Here's the second to last play on the drive. It's the really nice corner throw to Josh Hammond. I'm using the wide angle from a replay, so you will see Gary Danielson drawing on this play eventually. The Gators again are going 3 wide out to the left side. And what's going to happen is the outer 2 most guys, you've got Morale Stevens here and a receiver up here, I'm not sure who it is. They're going to do a little concept of shallow crosses that Mullen calls follow. Stevens is going to come out and go this way. The outside receiver is going to delay slightly and then come out and go this way. And it's called follow because the outside receiver is following the inside receiver. And the little bit of delay is to make sure that there's a decent amount of space between them. Going behind these 2 shallow crosses is Josh Hammond doing a deep corner route. So the way LSU is covering this is a cornerback, Kerry Vincent, and down here is the safety, Grant Delpit. Because Vincent is a corner, he has the deep route over here. If anyone runs a deep route, he's the one who's supposed to be covering it. This defender up here and Delpit have anything shorter than that. And so as these guys do their shallow crosses, this defender takes care of this route, and Delpit has the short cross. However, corner Vincent ends up getting caught a little bit looking at Stevens' shallow cross, and that opens up space behind him for Hammond to go. So this is a bit of a bust by the LSU defense. And the single safety back here, as Gary Danielson points out, he is late getting over to help, and so Hammond is able to make a great play. So as we run this forward, here's Gary Danielson's drawings. So we start this play. You've got Stevens here making a cut. You've got the underneath making a cut. and Hammond going behind. The corner has stayed up on Stevens making his cut, and he's not going backwards to get Hammond behind him. The safety has also kind of frozen in place. He should be watching Franks' head, and Franks has been looking to his left this entire time. He shouldn't be worried too much about this way. He should be worried about these guys over here. But again, he's late. And so there's a pocket behind both of them for Hammond to sneak in and get a big catch. Finally, here's the touchdown play. This is an unbalanced line. Martez Ivey, the left tackle, is over here. Here is the center, Buchanan, and only the left guard, Tyler Jordan, is to this side. This is the tight end, Stevens, who's going to catch the touchdown. But by having three receivers over here and the unbalanced line to that direction, it's really suggesting that Florida may want to go to the right. And in fact, as the play begins, you may remember, Franks will take a step forward to his right as though he's going to keep it and then throw it to the left. When Franks does his little bit of self-play action, this linebacker right here will step forward, as will this linebacker, because they're concerned about a quarterback run, and when it's a Dan Mullen offense, yes, you definitely worry about a quarterback run in the red zone. Because both of them bite on Franks' self-play action, there are going to be actually two guys open in the left of the end zone. So P. Ryan is going to come out and make a short option. Stevens is going to go out and make a long option. This linebacker right here is the one who's going to worry about Stevens, and this linebacker right here is the one who has to cover short against P. Ryan. Now to shore up the left side of the line, Tyler Jordan and Nick Buchanan are going to double team this defensive lineman. That leaves this edge rusher unblocked, but Stevens going out on his pattern is going to delay him just enough that Franks is able to get the ball out before he gets hit. So here's what happens. Franks takes a step forward, and you can see both this linebackers come forward, this linebackers come forward, and they're leaning forward. That's where their weight is going. Just that one step alone, they are now beat. So we continue going. Here's P. Ryan making his cut. Morale Stevens is making his cut. And this linebacker is unable to get over to that corner because he has turned over this way. It's kind of hard to blame this guy for that because he doesn't know what Stevens is doing. Stevens could be going directly back and turning around. He could be going back and over to the middle. There's no way for him to know what Stevens is doing when he has to make a decision of which way to turn. And it's only natural that he would turn in the direction where the guy he's supposed to cover goes. And so because he is turning around this way, he is late, and Stevens will be open. Because this guy came forward, he can't get over, and so P. Ryan will be open. And so now as Franks is making the throw with the guy in his face, you can see both P. Ryan and Stevens are wide open. It's entirely Franks' choice which one he wants to hit. He ends up going for the deeper route, and it ends up a touchdown. So here's one last play in real time. Watch these two linebackers. They take a step forward, and because they take that one step forward, that's all it takes. They're beat, and two guys are open in the end zone. So despite the penalty on Taylor that set them back, this was the best offensive drive that Florida had. They went almost the entire way using those three receivers to the left side, but they were able to both run and throw from that configuration. There's good blocking on most of the plays except for that wildcat run by Tony, and then they used some misdirection there on the goal line to imply that they're going right before throwing to the left. Dan Mullen confessed in his Monday press availability that he got a bit conservative at times during the game. This was not an example of that. He got into a rhythm, he got LSU guessing. The Gators were helped out a little bit by a coverage bust, but Felipe Franks also had just a beautiful throw on that play that had nothing to do with the coverage bust, and this was about as effortless as the Gators made it look all. So when Dan Mullen is feeling it and he gets into a rhythm, this is about as good as this year's offense is going to look against a really good defense.